guys, Shannon with Shannon's Garage, and it's Christmas night. Hopefully everybody had a good Christmas. I know I did. I just got some new stuff for the RC boat, so I kind of wanted to show you guys what was going on, and still waiting on a couple more things to put the rest of it back together, but check it out. So the first one is these new guys right here. Remember the little ones that were on the back of it before? I don't have any of these mounted yet, but these are brushless, 5.1 kilogram thrust, I think, each. So it shouldn't have no problem pushing the boat around the lake, which was an issue before. They're going to be running off of these, which are 40 amp, and the batteries that I got ordered are, what are they, 4S. This says it'll go up to 6S, and I'm sure you could probably push it to 8 if you really wanted to, but I'm sure this will be plenty. But yeah, so that's what the new thrust. This was the old thrusters. These are the new ones. So, a couple other cool things. I told you I was working on relocating where I'm putting the deeper, fish finder ball at, and I decided to locate it on the bottom of the boat, and it's going to go somewhere right about there. I got to cut a hole and do some mounting for it, and then make sure it's stiff enough to where when I screw the mating piece on to the bottom that I can get it on there tight enough to where it makes a good seal. But I think that's going to work just fine. I did have this out today before I tore it down. I did a little bit of fishing earlier today, and one thing I noticed was my range wasn't very good. Oh, by the way, check this out. So, because I was remounting that deeper, I went ahead and ordered this, this glow in the dark, if you will, night fishing top port. This wasn't really that expensive, and it actually lights up if you put it in night fishing mode. Let's see if I can get it to do something. It's not going to do it with just my finger touch. Sometimes it will, but yeah. So the signal wasn't very strong. I'd get about halfway out on the lake, and it'd start, getting real sporadic and whatnot. I read a couple different things that people say they were trying to use some Wi-Fi boosters to boost the signal. Basically coming from, your laptop or whatever you're trying to do. I think I'm going to go the opposite way. I come up with something that if it works, it'll be really cool. Cheap, kind of relatively inexpensive way to fix this issue. So I got this right here. I tore all this apart, but you guys might, be familiar with this. You might have seen it before. It's just a PixLink, Wi-Fi repeater. And, basically when I got this thing kind of tore apart to see if any of it was going to work, I realized that, it's just an AC converter over to DC. So I'm going to have some type of a DC power source inside of my boat that I should be able to use to power this, and then I can just run these 4 booster antennas somewhere where they make kind of sense as far as like boosting the signal. The question is, will I be able to get this to link to this to link to my phone or my laptop or my tablet? That part I don't know. I'm going to probably do it all on the bench prior. But if that works, that's going to be super cool because it'll give me, hopefully really good range. Where the deeper ball, is designed for a cast. So, it wasn't designed to do what I'm trying to do, and, modifications might need to be made. Hell, I might have to go in here and put a bigger antenna on it, if that's what has to happen. I really didn't want to mess with this, but we'll see. Hopefully I can get this to work and, go from there. The last cool thing that I got, and I haven't quite figured it out yet either. I've got a couple ideas though. This is an underwater camera. that I plan on installing on the boat somewhere. But my thought really was, if I could do so, is to be able to deploy this thing to a certain depth, you know, down to, you know, wherever I want to, you know, go do a little bit of investigating, you know. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do that. You know, I'm afraid if I go through the center of the hole and just let it ride right there and try to deploy it when I want on some kind of a cable pulley type of system, that the holes that are in here with the cables running through may cause a water leak inside the boat. If I maybe can come up with a way to seal that, I might go that route. But, you know, I guess if worst case scenario, if I had to deploy it from the side, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Now that I got the big thrusters on the back, I do have one other minor concern. That's the additional weight that I'm adding to this thing. So, you know, these are considerably heavier than the originals. These two things were not in the original setup. The deeper ball itself has some weight to it. I've got the Pixie Link, you know, Wi-Fi repeater going in, and I've also got the camera going on. So, and not only that, but two 4S batteries going in here with the original setup that it is. So the concern I got now really is the floatability of the whole device. I think I'm going to go ahead and try it. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to just tab up all the weight, and once I get these mounted, I'm going to tab up all the weight that's left over, everything, and then I'm just going to put it in there, and I'm going to take it out to the water, and I'm going to see, you know, does this thing, you know, actually float, or is it going to, you know, try to, you know, basically sink into the water? I know it's not going to sink, but it may set too low where it's not going to actually be able to get out of the water when it tries to go. And I kind of want this thing to be fast now at this point. With those things there, it should be relatively quick. So it'll be like kind of an RC fish finder race boat. But I don't know if any of you guys were saw the earlier videos. I've got another one of these that I'm making into a jet motor. It's going to have two jet impellers inside of it. I still am working on that. I decided to use the jets for something else. I thought they were too small anyway for it. So I'm going to order some new ones. I don't know when I'm going to do that yet. I was kind of waiting for shipping to get a little better. It takes forever to get anything now, but that's kind of what I got going on. So I don't know. Check it out. I don't know when I'm going to post this because I might be into some patent pending type of stuff, but so far it's pretty cool. So thanks. Hey guys, Shannon with Shannon's Garage, and I just want to take a second and talk to you guys about the difference between a brush motor and a brushless motor, and because there were some things that I didn't really know, and you know, I figured I'd share that with you real quick, at least what I learned so far. So back in the day, you know, back when I was really messing with the electric. Now, I stopped messing with electric a long time ago because there just wasn't anything that was comparable to gas back when I was, you know, doing the RC stuff. And, you know, back then, if you got a 9.6 NiCad battery from a Nico, you know, RC car, you were really doing something. You know, you thought you were cool as shit because you had a big battery in your car. But now they're making, you know, these lipos with, you know, they're basically like, well, shit, I mean, you got 12,000 megaamps running off of 20 volts. So I kind of wanted to go over that. A lot of people are probably like, oh yeah, I got an RC car that's brushed. It's got these brushed motors in it. If you see a 2-wire on your motor, it's a brushed motor. And you think, oh well, I'll just swap it over to a brushless system, and it really requires a whole system. And I'll try to explain to you why. So with the DC motor, I call it a DC motor because they're all DC. But with the brushed motors, it's got 2 brushes on it, and basically they energize, and which causes it to turn. Now with the brushless motors, it has something a little bit different. There's actually quadrants in here that each of these 3 wires will run in 2 different spots, one on the opposite of each other, at least to my understanding of it. So you can't take a brushed setup and just convert it over to a brushless without changing, at least at a minimum, your accessories to run it. These are smart accessories, so basically it's going to tell it, what it needs to do as far as, supplying the power to the motor itself. I wasn't really aware, starting on this project, starting on a bunch of stuff recently, that could be an issue. I figured, well, it probably just won't run as fast or whatever. But when I got to looking at it, I was like, well, damn, this thing's got 3 wires. And, if I do try to hook it up to a 2-wire brush system, which wire stays off, right? Well, none of them, because it won't run like that. Basically, again, the way that the whole system's set up is it needs these accessories, it has to have these accessories to be able to do what it needs to do to turn. So something to consider if you've got a brushed RC car, boat, and you're thinking about, man, I'd really like to turn this into a brush system. Plan on spending some money, because your brushless motors are, they got a certain cost to them, and your accessories are all going to have a certain cost to them. So yeah, it's definitely not, you can't just swap it out and that's that. So I just want to share that with you. If anybody else wants to add any comments to it, feel free. I'm not an expert by any means when it comes to brushless motors. Now, I used to mess with these all the time. A brush motor, again, I've been doing that since I was a kid. The brushless stuff's kind of new to me. I've always been a gas guy, nitro, 2-stroke, whatever. Yeah, so plan on spending some bucks if you're planning on swapping your thing over to a brushless system. Probably worth it, because you can pull so much power out of them. Like I was saying earlier in a video I've got, the setup I've got here says it'll go up to a 6S battery, which is a pretty damn big battery. As far as power goes, as far as voltage goes. It probably could go up to an 8S. The motors are set up for all the way up to 24 volt, I believe. So, it's definitely doable to go up to an 8S, or I guess they make a 10S. I don't know, but I'll have to look that up. But yeah, so where it's going to cost you really is in the accessories and the batteries. You're not going to be able to run your NiCad batteries in this setup once you change it over to a brushless. You'll have to run, your high output batteries in order for everything to work correctly. So definitely something to think about prior to doing it. Make sure you do, all the research and, plan on spending some bucks. So, thanks guys.